Hello students. Now I am bringing you another part of the gait analysis in which we are going to see the various methods of gait analysis, and we are also going to see the various types of pathological gaits. Pathological gaits I've already taught you. Today I'm just going to show you some videos of the pathological gaits and biomechanical analysis. I need you to tell you how it happens. Now, first of all, this is a force plate. Now we are going to do the analysis. Analysis. Now in the force plate, what do you understand by force plate? Now if you look at this force plate, this is a plate called force plate. Now what happens? This force plate is further connected to a camera and further connected to a computer. So what happens? This force plate has certain sensor motions. You might have seen that there are some things which are activated by a sensor, like these days when we go inside a washroom, the lights get activated with the help of sensor motions. In the same way, in these force plates, we have various kind of sensor motions at the plate. Now, what happens when the person walks? He keeps on stepping over these sensor motions, and then these sensor motions grasp the sense from the body, and this sensory signals they go to the computer. Moreover, there are cameras also which are capturing the motion. Now, how this motion is being captured? What we do, we set up biomechanical markers. Biomechanical marker. Now, how this biomechanical marker are set up? They are made up of some component. ऐसा component जो अकेला इन कैमराज में कैप्चर होगा. What we use, जो कैमराज हम यूज करते हैं, those are the normal cameras. इन नॉर्मल कैमरास में हमारी पूरी वीडियो कैप्चर हो जाती है. बट इन कैमरास में क्या होते हैं, ये कुछ पर्टिकुलर रेडियोलॉजिकल सब्सटेंसेस को ही कैप्चर करते हैं. सो व्हाट वी डू, वी पुट बायोमैकेनिकल मार्कर्स. बायोमैकेनिकल मार्कर्स आर मेड अप ऑफ रेडियोलॉजिकल मार्कर्स. एक पेल्विस पे रख दिया, एक नी पे रख दिया, एक एंकल पे बना दिया. सेम फॉर द अदर वन, एक नी पे, एक पेल्विस पे, एक एंकल पे, देन सम ओवर द आर्म्स. सो कुछ पर्टिकुलर हमने लैंडमार्क्स ले लिए जहाँ से हमारा बायोमैकेनिकल पिक्चर कैच होगा. जैसे कि हम पॉस्चर में करते हैं डिफरेंट लेवल्स, आर्म लेवल, पेल्विस लेवल, हिप लेवल, नी लेवल एंड सो ऑन. इन द सेम वे यहाँ पे हमने पूरा पेल्विस का एक लेवल पे बायोमैकेनिकल मार्कर डाला, हिप के लेवल पे डाला, नी के लेवल पे डाला, एंकल के लेवल पे डाला. So what will happen? These are the biomechanical markers made up of radiological substances. So when this person will move, this person will walk. Meanwhile, these cameras, they are going to capture the pelvis motion, the hip motion, the knee motion, and the ankle motion. And meanwhile, these cameras capture the biomechanical markers. These sensor motions, they are going to sense the motion, the force. These are going to sense the force. So in all, what happens in force plates? Force plates are the plates which contain sensor motions. These sensor motions sense the motion coming, sense the force coming by the body. इस तरह से जो भी फोर्स आ रहा है दोनों फुट की वजह से. अब जैसे इस टाइम पे है, टो ऑफ में है, इस टाइम पे जो पेशेंट का पर्सन फोर्स है वो सारा का सारा टोस की तरफ है. दिस फुट इज इन हील स्ट्राइक्स. इस टाइम पे सारा का सारा फोर्स है जो हील स्ट्राइक पे है. इफ दिस इज द फुट फ्लैट, या मिड स्टांस तो पूरा का पूरा फोर्स फुट के ऊपर होगा. इफ इट इज अ हील स्ट्राइक देन पूरा का पूरा फोर्स हील पे होगा. इफ इट इज अ टो ऑफ पूरा का पूरा फुट फोर्स टो पे होगा. एंड इफ इट इज अ स्विंग फेस देन उस टाइम पे उस पूरे फुट के लिए कोई फोर्स प्लेट में सिग्नल आएगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि फुट ने फोर्स प्लेट के ऊपर कांटेक्ट किया ही नहीं. एंड साथ के साथ हमने कुछ कैमरास प्लेस किए हुए हैं जो बायोमैकेनिकल मार्कर्स के मोशन को एनालाइज करते हैं. Now these cameras are special cameras which capture only the radiological substances. These biomechanical markers are made up of radiological substances. So when the person moves forward, at that time these points are also moving forward, and these cameras are capturing the motion of these points only. Now if you look at this is how, see, the biomechanical markers have been placed at different points, and this is the motion of these points only. ये देखिए. Now मान लो this one is the motion of the hip, this one is the motion of the knee, this one is the motion of the ankle, and how these are moving. So this is how we get the motion of different joints. Now how this happens, for example, this one is the hip, this one is the knee, the red one, and this one is the ankle. So अभी इसका मोशन कैसा हो रहा है, यहाँ पे हिप यहाँ था. For example, in the heel strike, the hip was here. उसके बाद when this lady is doing foot flat, then this biomechanical motion is here. उसके बाद जब mid stance में है, then this biomechanical motion is here. And then heel off में है, उसके बाद ये biomechanical marker थोड़ा नीचे आया. And then toe off में ये biomechanical marker और नीचे आ गया. So basically one level was at here, another level was here, then another level was here, then here, then here. If you join these, you get a graph like this. So this graph is basically the average motion of hip which is occurring. And if you look at here it is written as heel strike, foot flat, mid stance, heel off, toe off. इस तरह से यहाँ पे ये लिखा हुआ. So this is representing the motion of these particular markers. Same way we do for the knee, same way we do for the ankle. This is for right foot and this is for left foot. So these are the biomechanical markers being analyzed, captured by the camera, and then the camera is recording the motion of these in different phases of gait, and this we get. And this is the force plate. See, यहाँ पे देखो, the green ones indicate pressure and force. The green one indicates pressure and force. Now just look at this. In the right foot, forefoot में इतना pressure आया and then it went down. Midfoot में there was a very little pressure. Heel and zone में सबसे ज़्यादा pressure किया गया. So basically you all know, जब भी हम heel strike करेंगे तब सबसे ज़्यादा pressure heel पे आएगा and बाकी zones पे कम आएगा. जब हम toe off करेंगे तब सिर्फ toes के ऊपर pressure आएगा. Heel foot flat and mid stance में इस तरह से pressure आएगा. So this is what it is showing. ये जब हील फुट फ्लैट, ये जब हील स्ट्राइक हुआ, जब हील स्ट्राइक हुआ तो सिर्फ हील्स के ऊपर आएगा, ओनली हील्स. उसके बाद जब फुट फ्लैट हुआ तो इस तरह से आएगा. उसके बाद जब मिड स्टांस हुआ तो इस तरह से आएगा. उसके बाद जब हील ऑफ हुआ तो देखो हील के ऊपर यहाँ पे कोई प्रेशर है ही नहीं. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली जब हील स्ट्राइक हुआ तो इस तरह से सिर्फ हील्स का एक इमेज आएगा. Then foot flat में you will get the image of the full foot. In the mid stance you will get the image of the full foot with the pressure on the heel. उसके बाद heel off में there is no pressure at the heel, only in the forefoot and midfoot, and then in the toe off you will get only. So this is heel strike. उसके बाद foot flat, then mid stance, then heel off, and then toe off. So heel strike में you will get the image of pressure only on the heel. Foot flat में you will get the pressure of foot on the forefoot. Mid stance में the whole foot with more pressure on the heel. Heel off में only the forefoot and midfoot. Toe off में only the toes. So this is how the force plate capture the various kind of forces which our foot is experiencing during the stance phases. In swing phase, obviously force plate will not capture any force, so swing phase it will be empty. Now this is how force plates work. This video is for your analysis. Now just look, this is a force plate and this is the person walking. इस तरह से the force plates are going to capture. So I told you once there are some places in which just force plates or just motion captures are not used. We use treadmills also to regulate and record the speed with which a person can walk. So on various speeds, मान लो at 30 km per hour, how the gait pattern is there. At 60 km per hour, how the gait pattern is being altered. At 80 km per hour, how the gait pattern is being altered. When the patient is running, how the gait pattern is being altered. You already know that there is a huge difference in the gait of walking, stair climbing, and running. Walking is a slow procedure in which you will see all the faces. स्टेयर क्लाइंबिंग में यू विल सी क्लाइंबिंग अप एंड डाउन, कब एक लिम्ब के ऊपर फोर्स देना है, कब दूसरे लिम्ब के ऊपर ज़्यादा फोर्स देना है. रनिंग में यू विल गेट अ वेरी स्पीडी, वेरी फास्ट रनिंग जिसमें सारे फेसेस बहुत तेज़ी से आएंगे. एंड रनिंग में स्विंग फेस इज़ मोर देन द स्टांस फेस बिकॉज पर्सन का जो फुट है जब ग्राउंड के साथ कॉन्टैक्ट में नहीं होता तब वो ज़्यादा स्पीड पकड़ पाता है. सो रनिंग में हमारा स्विंग फेस ज़्यादा होता है दैन द स्टांस फेस. इस तरह से स्पीड भी रेगुलेट हो रही है विद द हेल्प ऑफ ट्रेडमिल. फोर्स प्लेट्स भी है एंड बायोमैकेनिकल मार्कर्स के साथ पिक्चर भी एनालाइज हो रही है. सो देर आर फोर्स प्लेट्स ऑल्सो, देर आर बायोमैकेनिकल मार्कर्स ऑल्सो फॉर द पिक्चर एनालिसिस एंड देर आर स्पीड चेकिंग ऑल्सो. Initial contact. It is telling all the angles which are being made. Now just look at this. At this time, at the heel strike, gluteus max, quadriceps, and your pre-tibial muscles at the interior compartment of leg are being activated. Measuring all the angles, and then you can see again these three muscles. Gastrocnemius is made now. Again, analyzing all the range of motions, and then gastrocnemius, eccentric fork. Now, when you do pre-swing, that is the toe off. In the toe off, your adductor muscles, hamstring and pre-tibial muscles are also working. Now, why adductors now? Because when we do toe off, उस टाइम पे मैंने आपको बताया था when I was teaching you the gait analysis, when we do toe off, in the toe off, we keep our hips slightly adducted. So basically, in adduction only, the toe off can occur. In the toe off, we have a tendency to keep our foot closer to our body. That's why the adductors are working. So, in the terminal swing, the hamstrings muscle and the quadriceps muscle are more working. So, if you look at the swing phase, in the swing phase, the hamstrings and quadriceps muscle are more in work. Why? Because in the swing phase, we are continuously flexing our knee. So, in the swing phase, we are continuously flexing our knee. थोड़ा सा जब हम swing start करेंगे in the initial swing, then also we will start the swing phase, then also we will flex the knee. उसके बाद जब हम swing phase में mid swing में जाएंगे, then the flexion at the knee will increase, and जब हम terminal swing में जाएंगे, then the flexion of the knee will decrease. But throughout the swing phase, the major motion which is occurring is flexion and extension at knee. That's why during the swing phase, the hamstrings and quadriceps are more in function, and a little bit motion of gluteal muscles also. But during the stance phase, with hamstrings, you will see a very little bit motion by the quadriceps only when the knee is extended, and you will see more motion of the gastrocnemius and the anterior tibial muscles. So always remember that the muscles which are getting activated, you should remember according to the motion that is occurring. And the thing of eccentric and concentric. Eccentric, you all know, is the shortening of the muscle. Now, in this particular position, the hamstring is being shortened. That's why it is eccentric of the hamstrings, and the quadriceps is being lengthened. That's why it's the concentric of quadriceps. So, always and always just analyze what motion is occurring. Wherever the muscle is getting shortened, it is the eccentric work of that muscle. Wherever the muscle is getting lengthened, it is the concentric work of that muscle. Now, whatever that was happening, just look how the motion is being analyzed. This is how the person is walking. This is how those markers are being measured where they are going, and this is how you are getting a force plate analysis. Force अब heel से आ रहा है, force अब यहाँ से आ रहा है, and this is the image which is being formed of the force plate. So this is the motion, biomechanical markers का motion being recorded over here, and how the force is being transferred to the foot, where the force is being transferred. Like इधर अभी heel से ऊपर जा रहा है, इधर toes पे आ रहा है, इधर heel से ऊपर जा रहा है. They are moving like this in the different coordinates. The image is being measured of the force plates. So these are the various things, various ways in which analyze the gait. So what you learn as gait analysis is a 2D thing, that you are yourself watching the gait. What kind of gait is this? Is it a pathological gait or is it a normal gait? But when we look at these things, biomechanical analysis, we need force plates, we need biomechanical markers, and we need motion sensors also. We need to regulate the speed with the help of treadmills. So this is how by using so many equipments we have the gait analysis. Now we move on to the pathological gaits. Now pathological gaits may in hemiplegic gait, now what happens in hemiplegia, only one side of body is affected. Now, in this one side of body, there is weakness of the upper extremity, there is weakness of the torso, that is your spine, and there is weakness of the lower extremity, your foot, toes, and hip. So, when the person is walking, the person have a tendency to try to keep whole of this affected body towards the unaffected. So basically एक आपका unaffected half है and one half is affected. The person has a tendency to keep whole of the unaffected body towards the whole of the affected body towards the unaffected body. So what happens while walking, the person keeps the affected arm to one side and the person drags the affected leg in a semicircle, that is circumduction. Now why the person is doing circumduction? क्योंकि थोड़ा सा एडक्टर वीकनेस भी है एंड थोड़ा सा आपको फुट ड्रॉप की वजह से आपके foot muscles and plantar flexor muscles, they are also weak. So basically this is seen in the patient of stroke. Now look at this. See, So this is how they are doing circumduction in order to keep the body towards itself, and how they kept the arm. See, अगर माइल्ड पैरासिस है तो शायद आम पे इतना सिम्टम नहीं होगा, बट सर्कमडक्टरी विल प्रिवेल. Then in the diplegic gait, hemiplegic was only one side. Diplegic is involvement of both sides of the lower extremities worse than the upper extremities. So the whole body is basically affected, but in a different pattern. The upper extremities are not involved more, but lower extremities are involved more. In such kind of patients, the base of support is really narrow because दोनों limbs में weakness है. Both the lower limbs are not able to maintain the base of support, due to which there is a narrow base of support, and there is no power. So the person has a gait in which he will drag both the legs. This is seen in patients such as cerebral palsy. एंड इसमें एक चीज़ और है, हिप एडक्टर्स का टाइटनेस भी आता है, जिसकी वजह से इसको सीजर्स गेट का नाम भी दिया जाता है. अब होता क्या है सीजर्स गेट क्यों होता है? बिकॉज एडक्टर्स बहुत टाइट है. तो इधर आप एडक्टर मसल्स की स्ट्रेचिंग कराएं या फिर आप उनको सर्जिकली रिलीज करें, तभी सीजरिंग हट सकते हैं. नहीं तो देर इज नथिंग इन विच यू कैन रिलीज द सीजरिंग ऑफ द पर्सन. तो सेरेब्रल पाल्सी के पेशेंट्स में डायप्लेजिक गेट बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. सी, एडक्टर्स की टाइटनेस की वजह से हाउ they are dragging the foot, and reductors की tightness की वजह से the base of support is very narrow. See how the scissoring is occurring. Then in the neuropathic gait, steppage gait, this is a high steppage gait. Now what happens due to radiculopathy, L5 radiculopathy, or due to peroneal nerve palsy? There occurs foot drop due to weakness of the foot dorsiflexors. अब इसकी वजह से क्या होगा? फुट ड्रॉप होगा, so spontaneously the toes are touching the ground. अब इसकी वजह से ये जो लेग है ये लंबी हो रही है. अभी क्या है? Normally you have two legs of the same length. Now what happens in foot drop? एक जो लेग है वो ऐसे की जगह अब ऐसे हो गई. अब इसकी वजह से इसका जो लेंथ है वो लंबा हो गया है, एंड इसका जो लेंथ है वो छोटा हो गया है. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इन ऑर्डर टू नॉर्मलाइज द लेंथ ऑफ दिस फुट ड्रॉप, ये लंबा हो गया ऐसे. सो व्हाट हैपेंस नाउ, द पर्सन हैज अ टेंडेंसी टू लिफ्ट ऑफ दिस फुट. अब इसकी वजह से ये जो फुट ड्रॉप है ये एक स्लैप के साथ आपके ग्राउंड पे हिट होता है एंड ड्रैग होता है. नाउ लुक, सी this तरह से, because there is a foot drop, so the patient is lifting the foot and then keeping it with the slap. Lift the foot and keep with the slap. And this is the previous one, only narrow base of support and scissoring gait. Now next is a myopathic gait. Myopathic gait is basically connected with the Trendelenburg sign. Now due to Trendelenburg sign, you all know what is Trendelenburg sign. When the abductors of one side are weak in relation to the other, तो जिस साइड पे abductors weak होते हैं उस साइड पे आपका जो pelvis है it drops. Now this is called Trendelenburg sign. Now in such kind of patients there is a Trendelenburg gait, also known as myopathic gait. Now what the person has a tendency, if this is your pelvis, these are your limbs and these are your abductors. नाउ जब एक साइड का एबडक्टर वीक हो जाएगा तो ये जो पेल्विस है इस तरह से उसकी तरफ वीक, तो ये जो पेल्विस है ये ड्रॉप हो जाएगा. पेल्विस ड्रॉप कहाँ होगा? उन मसल्स की तरफ जो पावर में है. मान लो दीज आर द वीक मसल्स एंड दीज आर द स्ट्रॉन्ग एबडक्टर मसल्स. अब अभी दो एबडक्टर्स के बीच में पेल्विस इज लाइक अ सीसॉ. ये भी अपनी तरफ इक्वली पुल करता है, ये भी अपनी तरफ इक्वली पुल करता है. Now, if one of these muscles get weak, मान लो ये वाली muscle weak हो गई है, then the hold of this muscle on the pelvis becomes loose and the pelvis drops towards the powerful abductor muscle. Now, what the patient has a tendency कि वो अब यहाँ से pelvis को lift करके चलना शुरू करेगा. एंड अगर किसी पेशेंट में दोनों साइड का पेल्विस ड्रॉप हो जाए, मान लो दोनों साइड के एबडक्टर वीक हैं, तो पेशेंट पहले इसको लिफ्ट करेगा फिर इसको लिफ्ट करेगा. इफ इट इज़ अ यूनिलेटरल pelvic drop, then the person will lift only that side on which the pelvis is dropping. But if it is a bilateral pelvic drop, then the person will lift one leg and then lift the another leg, which is called waddling. See, the pelvis is dropping. So how the person is going to contain the pelvis? See, waddling, lifting the side on which the pelvis is dropping. Again, see, first that and that, then that, then that. Lifting both the side, this is called waddling. And if it is only unilateral, then he will lift only one side. Then is the Choreiform gait, hyperkinetic gait. Now, hyperkinetic say we understand that it is irregular, jerky, involuntary movements in all the extremities. These are due to some diseases in which dystonia occurs. These are the certain diseases, you can go through them. Sydenham's chorea, Huntington disease, atetosis. So what happens? Patient display irregular, jerky, involuntary movements in all the extremities. So कुछ भी motion आएगा वो jerky होगा, irregular होगा, involuntary होगा. Walking will accentuate or aggravate this movement disorder. Then in the ataxic gait, you all know ataxic gait. Ataxic gait means when the gait is clumsy and a wide based gait. In this type of gait, the body will swagger back and forth and from side to side. This is known as titubation. Now how happens? This is called titubation. कभी इधर जाना कभी इधर जाना. So this is your ataxic gait. And the second most important thing about this is this ataxic gait occurs in the patient with cerebellar disorder. We all know that cerebellum is responsible for the coordination. If the cerebellum area is affected, then there is incoordination. Now, due to incoordination, the patient is unable to see the direction properly. The patient is unable to orient his body according to the direction he wants to go. जिसकी वजह से the patient never goes in straight line. He swaggers back and forth and side to side, which is known as titubation. And it is also seen in alcohol intoxication. Now the Parkinsonian gait, you all know that there is bradykinesia. The bradykinesia, brady means slow. So the kinetic motion is in very slow speed. The patient is stooped with head and neck forward and a little flexion at the knee. Very little steps are taken by the patient, which is known as petit pas, walk of little steps. Patient have difficulty in initiating steps. Patient also show a involuntary inclination to accelerating steps, known as fascination. मतलब steps छोटे हैं, speed कम है, but the patient on their part they try to accelerate themselves, which is known as fascination. This gait is seen in Parkinsonian disease. And then what happens in this patient? If you look at their hands, they keep on pill rolling their fingers also. Now how it occurs? See. Stooping forward, small steps but trying to accelerate. Stooping forward, and this is the pill rolling effect. This is due to tremors. Again, see. Stooping forward, slow steps, trying to take fast and pill roll. Now the sensory gait. अब sensory gait में क्या होता है? Either due to B12 deficiency or due to some loss of proprioceptive input, the patient during heel strike, foot flat, heel off and toe off, they are unable to feel that their feet is landing on the ground. Why? Because the sensory receptors of the feet are not working properly, the proprioceptors of the feet are not working properly, so the patients are unable to sense that their feet is landing on the ground. This particular aggravates in the dark when the patient is also unable to see क्योंकि अब visual input भी नहीं आ रहा है. And this can also resemble ataxia, and this can also happen in diabetes. Diabetes में it is also called as diabetic foot. धीरे धीरे foot का sensory receptor का power loss होता जाता है, proprioception loss होता जाता है. So what kind of gait they happen? They hit their foot really hard on the floor, which is called stomping or stamping gait. See, stamping, because they want to feel that yes, the foot has landed on the ground. So these are the various kind of gaits which are there, the various common types of pathological gait which are seen in the patient. So for you people, I have bought all the clippings from different sources for the gait, pathological gaits, and for the gait analysis. So this completes with your gait. I gave you the revision of the gait. After the revision of the gait, after the revision of the cycles, I told you what different kinds of gait are there, the running gait and the stair climbing gait. Then I came to the gait analysis with the help of biomechanical markers, cameras, and the force plates and the treadmills, and then we came on to the different kinds of pathological gait. Just go through this once. This is very important. I'm sooner going to give you a test, a quiz, which is going to be based on these two videos also. Go through these videos and give the quiz. Stay safe, all of you, and just take care of yours and keep on studying.